to a different topic right now. For Tanner's topics, we were going to talk about
Vibram.
if you haven't heard.
So we want to work with all these disc golf companies, and these guys are jumping out of the game. What the heck?
We scared them, did we?
Yeah, we're like, we want to work with everybody, and they're like, dude, we're out. Like,
Nah.
you're never going to work with us.
They're
We're out of disc
prestigious.
golf. So Vibram is shutting down their disc manufacturing. So Vibram is a shoe company primarily.
They're a rubber company, I think.
Are they?
That's like what they like specialize in is like rubber
think they're
and
gonna-
shoes.
You
and
think they're
like
going to bounce back?
that was that a rubber pun?
Yes, it was.
They're shutting down. They're shutting down their disc golf manufacturing. Now, I know Vibram's not the most popular of discs. I've thrown like one from my buddy who used one because they're like some of them, their plastics are so soft that he would use it for like up shots. And surprisingly, it was like a really stable putter. I can't remember what it was called, but it would just like boom and bounce and just like stay there.
A lot of people I've seen putt with those super floppy putters from Vibram. I haven't really seen. I know a lot of people like the lace, which is an understable, I think, fairway driver. I always thought their plastic was kind of odd. Like
It looked cool sometimes.
It
It
kinda
had
looked
like
cool.
Play-Doh.
yeah, kind of looked like hard Play-Doh that didn't crack. But they have like the one thing I noticed that was different than others is they have their logo embossed on the top of the flight plate on like one side. And I know that I don't know
And on the bottom of the
aerodynamics.
shoes.
Just aerodynamics. I feel like that would like cause a weird like wind issue on one side of the disc.
Yeah, I'm not really sure like what their like approach to disc golf was, like because we didn't throw them. I always know they had like the speed of like miles per hour of how fast you should throw this disc.
Really?
Yeah, it has like I don't know if you guys ever did this when I first started playing disc golf. I like drew with a Sharpie. I was like, oh, it's gonna fly like this, and I'd draw like a straight line with a little fade, and I would be like, oh, I need that one for sure.
Yeah.
And they had that, but it had the actual miles per hour of like the speed of the disc, like getting real precise on it.
Maybe
So-
that's why they didn't sponsor like Eagle.
Didn't have miles per hour that went that high.
Yeah.
They just didn't have discs that could be thrown that fast. So there, if you guys are in tune with disc golf and the National Tour, Disc Golf Pro Tour, the Vibram Open or the Maple Hill Open, last year was the last year of it being the Vibram Open,
This year it's going to be the MVP.
the MVP Open, and I wonder if that was like because like they already knew they were kind of like inching their way back out of the disc golf game. I'll read you guys a quick thing from Vibram that just kind of gives you the overall details of what they said. And this is from Vibram. So, greetings Vibram disc golf customers. We have made the very hard decision to exit the sport of disc golf. We feel that the sport of disc golf deserves more attention and effort than our business is able to provide, given the volume of resources needed for the much larger segments of our business. So like they have like the whole shoe. I have like work boots that are all Vibram soles. If you look around, you probably see Vibram a lot more places than you think.
They're famous for at least what I know about them, which I don't agree with this shoe, but the toe shoes.
Why don't you agree with the shoe?
Go to school for exercise science and you'll realize that is not a very good way to design a shoe.
That doesn't sound like a disc golf topic we should get into.
But I'm just saying that's what I think most people know them for. If they are, as far as other than disc golf, is those fingerless shoes that you see on.
Totally. Okay, so continuing what they said, we have had a hard time developing a disc golf focused business unit that can offer the product lineup, marketing efforts, and event support needed to properly support the sport of disc golf in the role of a manufacturer. Please see your nearest Vibram disc golf retailer and stock up before they are gone. We truly appreciate your partnership in our disc golf business and believe that in the end, this is the very best direction for us as a brand, no matter how hard of a decision this has been. Best regards, Jeff. So you think a bunch of people are going to miss him? Sorry, no.
I have a feeling they're just going to people are going to be like, oh, you going to Vibram Open? And they'll be like, no, dude.
The MVP Open.
MVP Open. And then like in 2 years from now, it's going to just be like.
Well, so that says one thing. So I've played with a guy who's like thrown only Vibram. Every time you see somebody who throws like Vibram, you're like, Vibram? Like you throw Vibram? Like have you heard of
vibing?
Are you vibing for Vibram, bro? So I don't think that they're not making a ton of money off of this, or unless they wouldn't decide to take it off. So they were probably losing money on it.
I could see that. I mean, the one thing that they had going for them, which I think is the hardest thing to do when you're a disc golf company, is the manufacturing. I think it's hard to make money in disc golf unless you're making discs.
Yeah, and constantly pouring in 100% of your efforts into this.
Yeah. So you see, like Dynamic, they kind of started. They partnered up with the manufacturing companies in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
Discmania partnered up with Innova's manufacturing company.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to I feel like you have to have a company that's already had an established production line basically before you can get into it, or otherwise it's a big uphill battle.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, they kind of had the resources to do it because they have a lot of rubber for their shoes and things, so it kind of made sense. But they kind of were trying to fill I don't know what kind of niche they were trying to fill. I mean,
yeah, it's not like there already wasn't discs being made. It's not like
if you think about it, like MVP is their niche is the gyro.
Yeah,
and
they're overmolds.
They're overmolds, yeah. And so I kind of feel like Vibram and MVP, I'm not sure when they started, but I feel like they kind of grew at the same time.
Like 0 comments and stuff on it. So
yeah.
It looks like a bunch of people didn't. I feel like it kind of got blown over. Like it wasn't a big deal. Like imagine if Discraft was like, we're done. But what would Discraft do? Like that would be a shutdown of a whole company. That's why I think they can do this, or they are doing this, because they're like, dude, we do shoes. Like we do rubber. Like maybe they got into it because like, well, we have the material. We can make discs out of this, out of rubber, you know? And they're like, oh, wait.
Yeah, I mean, just from like a branding standpoint, I feel like I can't think of what's made them stand apart besides, having shoes.
It was, for me, like when I thought Vibram, I thought just like rubber. I thought rubber discs. I thought really floppy rubber discs. And
not plastic discs.
Not plastic. And that's the thing. Like they're not plastic. I thought of like rubber. So it just didn't seem to fully fit. Slightly not, I wouldn't call it an outcast. Oh, here, it says the rubber disc golf manufacturer is leaving 10 years after 10 years in the sport. So it was a decade. So they started in 2008.
Impressive, actually.
It's cool that they did sponsor the Vibram or the Maple Hill Open and the Vibram Open. They were giving back to the disc golf world like that. And
yeah, I really like those. I really like that tournament.
Love that course. I want to play there.
Yeah, bucket list.
Bucket list.
So yeah, I mean, it sucks that we're losing a company, but I mean,
it's probably just making room for maybe a new company to come up, maybe something that's ready to pour all of their ventures and money and time and effort into developing good media, a good product.
I think, yeah, I mean, coming from our standpoint of being, I guess we could say we're disc golf media members now, you have to have a good media like presence, a good social media presence in order to be successful.
Yes.
These nowadays.
Yep.
If you look at the Year of the Shield for Discmania, they're pushing it hard now. They're trying to put out a lot of content. They're trying to get back to the sport through like videos and informational videos. Dynamic is probably the best company in the sport as far as social media goes. I think they're always giving you guys
just going live. They're just going live.
They're always in the warehouse showing you what kind of things are going. Innova's kind of kicking it up. If you look at the tournament that the Las Vegas Open, there's a lot of little.
It's all sponsored by Innova. Well, they have an Innova course. Like one of the courses is like primarily sponsored by Innova. There's like disc golf values is one of the course, and there's an Adidas course, and there's an Innova course.
Yeah. So I just, maybe one of the reasons why they didn't do so well is I can't think of like any videos or any content that really stood out to me online.
The only thing was when you randomly saw a Vibram disc in somebody's bag, or the Maple or the Vibram Open, which isn't that anymore. It's like once they lost that, it was like, Vi who?